It's been about 4 months since Legends of Runeterra was released on open beta, and just recently it countered its first expansion, the Rising Tides, and moved out of open beta and onto mobile devices. So what does this all mean for your average person that has little experience with card games? In this video, I plan to address exactly that. What my first impressions have been of the game as a beginner, how I plan to become a better player, and the pros and cons of this game versus other games. Of course, as a disclaimer, I don't claim to be professional, and everything here is of my opinion. My background in games has mostly been in Hearthstone, which I've played since 2014, and Team Fortress 2 before that, so I wouldn't necessarily claim to be a qualified game reviewer. So what are my initial impressions? For starters, the game has really great art based on the characters from League of Legends. The animations and voice lines for each of the characters are unique and fun. The gameplay is fairly straightforward, with a bit of a learning curve with the ordering of the characters on the board and the turn-based system. One area that became very evident and where I lacked was knowledge of the entire card base. In strategy games, counterplay becomes a very important aspect of the game, and having knowledge of the cards is required for that. Since the collection is fairly vast when starting out, there's another steep learning curve to discovering these cards and how to play against the current meta decks. Another thing I quickly discovered is the large power discrepancy between the decks that are well refined and not. The game encourages players to have well-designed decks that synergize, which unfortunately punishes new players that have no experience in smaller collections to work with. Essentially, with the way the game is designed, it seems like the beginner playing a well-designed deck could easily beat a veteran player playing a poorly made deck. You could say the match is won or lost even before it began. Lastly, another significant thing about Legends of Runeterra is the amount of swing there is within one turn. Because multiple actions happen within the same turn for both players and the way the cards are designed, players can have simple game-ending turns. For example, a turn 3 Zed without an answer from the opponent can simply seal out the game there. Whereas in a game, let's say like Hearthstone, the most snowball game-ending play you could probably get was pre-nerf Undertaker on turn 1. Not to say that wasn't powerful or anything along the lines, and it ended up getting nerfed. Overall, the game seems good, and the developers seem to be heading in the right direction. Now on to how it seems best to progress for the beginner.
I will not hold back. I fight with the dragon's fury.
Right now, there are two ways that I can think of. First, neck decking a bunch of different decks that I can try out and play. Nothing is more demotivating than constantly losing and crafting useless cards. And finding a decent deck can help the average person get a better feel for the meta and create a better understanding of how the best decks are created. There are a lot of great decks already on the internet from reputable sources, so check them out if you haven't already. A lot of the decks have guides written by experienced players that will help you understand the meta, as well as their thoughts behind creating the deck in the first place. There are also many streamers and YouTube videos that can help you get a better understanding of how to play the game and the different decks that are within it. The second way is to just keep playing the game. I know this sounds like the most obvious answer to be giving, but it really is the best way for any beginner to improve. Playing the game more will help build your knowledge and experience of the game. The more you've played, the better you'll be at counterplay. The more you've played, the better you'll be at creating decks from scratch and evaluating how cards work well together and how they don't. By doing these things, I hope we can all become better players together and grow the community in a positive direction. Thanks for watching this video, and let me know what your initial thoughts of Legends of Runeterra were, and what you think every beginner should do to improve. Consider subscribing, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I'll see you all in the next video.